If you've ever wondered what Joe Rogan's house looks like, here it is. This is the recent one he purchased in Austin, Texas for $14.5 million. As you guys know, he left California, stating mainly it was the taxes. He got tired of paying these huge taxes. California taxes, over 10%. Okay, so you're paying the high tax bracket of 37% federal, plus a whopping 10, 12% for state. Adds up to a lot. If you're making $1 million a year, which I'm sure he's making more than that, 10% of that is $100,000 a month. If he signed that deal with Spotify, which he did, right, for 100, 200 million over the course of 4 or 5 years, it doesn't take long to add up the figures and realize that it's better to live in Texas with no state income tax. It's a beautiful home. The glass windows are leading out to the backyard. This is a lake house, right? So if you look beyond the yard, there's a lake out there. It's absolutely beautiful. Obviously, this is staged furniture, not the furniture that he has. He probably put his own touch. But it's a very modern. I really like it. I like a little more minimalism, but I like the concrete accents. That kitchen is absolutely stunning. One thing I will say about Texas is the property taxes are absurd. Of course, they got to make the revenue somewhere. So you're wondering, how much property taxes is Joe Rogan paying on this place? Well, depending where you live in Austin, it can go from 2.5 to 4%, right? So let's just look at the low end, 2%, which is more for sure, because it's probably a very ritzy neighborhood. You're paying county, city, school district taxes and your property taxes. 2% of $14 million is $280,000 a year. Because 1% of 14 million is 140,000, so 280. That is over 20 grand a month in property taxes alone. Oh, look at that lake. Oh, Madonna. That is absolutely stunning. I could see myself chilling over there. Madonna. This is absolutely beautiful. It's a lot of land, too. You're not getting this for 14 million out in California. Taxes or no taxes, I think it's worth it. Absolutely. So that's what he went from. That's what he went from when he was in California. Capito. So he left that. It's already a nice house, but probably cost more than that. And, moved out to Texas. What do you guys think? Did he do a good move? I think he did, but it's the price. The price of the property taxes that just drives me up the wall. It's the same thing in New Hampshire. New Hampshire is extremely expensive with a property tax. But if you think about it, you're like, okay, well, where else could I go that has low property tax? Well, Florida. Florida has no state income tax, and the property taxes are more reasonable. Also, Tennessee has no state income tax, and the property taxes are much more reasonable. You could live outside Nashville, which is a nice city. Many of you guys would be like, oh, if you grew up in Tennessee, maybe you won't want to, but it's better than Memphis. I've been to both of those places, and I would say Nashville, much nice. I wouldn't mind living in Tennessee. Florida, the hurricanes, right? Texas is one of those places, nothing really happened. You don't have to worry about anything. But out of the principle, I would not want to pay $280,000 a year just in property taxes. Over 10 grand a month. Over 20, actually. That just doesn't sit right with me. When I was living in Scranton, I had a condo now worth over 100 grand, but at the time it was about 60 grand. And I was paying about $3,000 a year in taxes, property taxes, plus HOA, which was like $199 a month. So about $500 a month. And I had no mortgage because I bought it cash, of course. So $500 a month just for the privilege of living there. And I knew neighbors, like they took no time in seizing your property if you didn't pay taxes. You're like, oh, well, it's 60 grand, so you probably can run up, half that, 30,000 in back taxes before they take it? Oh, no. 2 years. By the second year rolling around, they're ready to throw you out. They don't play around. They will seize your property over $4,000 in unpaid taxes, $5,000 in unpaid taxes. That's just ridiculous. I think the principle of property taxes just sits bad with me. I know the school district and the city and all this stuff, but it just doesn't sit right with me. We're taxed on our income. We're taxed on every single thing you purchase. And then you're taxed on your property that you already bought. Like when you buy the property, you're paying taxes. Then you got to pay, 2, 3, 4% of the value of the home that changes every year. Every year you got to pay that. And it's taxes upon taxes upon taxes. Then you die and you got to pay more taxes. Then you got taxes on gain on your stocks. It's constant taxation. I don't know. I think that your primary residence, you should have some sort of safe haven where you're safe. You don't have to worry. But you just got to keep earning. You got to keep earning. That is kind of the curse of life. Even when you have money, you buy a nice place like Joe Rogan's, whatever. You got to worry with that property tax. Every year, they're going to come back. Every year. Doesn't matter when you're 70, you're 80, you're 90 years old. They will come get you home. You got to keep earning. So you better invest in that 401k or whatever you got going on, because you need a check every month to keep coming in until the day you die. But, one last thing is that Austin is doing really great. The property values are skyrocketing, so he probably will make out like a bandit whenever he sells. Unless the real estate market crashes here. But I don't know. What do you guys think about the house? What do you guys think about moving to Texas? Where would you move if you were an entrepreneur and you could live anywhere? Would you go international? Would you stick around here, go to Texas, maybe Alaska? I don't know. Tennessee, Florida, New Hampshire. What's another one that's Wyoming doesn't have state income tax, and Nevada. I think I named all of them. Those are the no state income tax. And again, it's a give and take. Income tax is not always bad. You got to look at how much you earn and how much the income tax. Joe Rogan still makes out like a bandit. It's better for him to pay $280,000 a year in property taxes versus 10% of his income in California. Of course, if he's making 10, even just 1 million, well, 1 million he would pay 150, but he's making more than $1 million. So it gets to the point where it's cheaper to live in Texas. But anyway, that's all I got for you guys. Thank you as always. Buy red and sell green.